Hello and welcome back to another live stream. My name is Christian Golick. I'm a video content producer and I specialize in working with entrepreneurs to help them become seen using video. On today's show, I am interviewing a friend of mine and a fellow wedding videographer, Greg Lorenzo. He and his wife Deirdre run a high-end luxury wedding videography company in New Jersey, Lorenzo Media Productions. Now, like myself, Greg knew that there was more to his work and his business than just creating gorgeous wedding films for brides and grooms. He knew that his knowledge was valuable, and he saw an opportunity to market his expertise to other wedding videographers looking to take their production up a notch and just get the luxury look. So after 8 years of creating luxury wedding films, Greg and Deirdre took their knowledge, packaged it together, and created an online course called Luxury Filmmaker. And it has taken the market by storm. They've gained students from the US, Canada, Australia, and Europe, and they released a trailer for Luxury Filmmaker, and when I saw it, I was blown away. So let's actually watch that right now.
Would you pay a premium for an average looking product? Then why aren't you perfecting your wedding films? 99% of the market is a sea of average. Average filmmakers producing average looking wedding films with no real distinction from one filmmaker to the next. You want to destroy average, and my course is going to show you how. Over the years, I've created what I call the luxury look. It's a dramatic style that demands attention and attracts higher paying brides. Our brides expect us to be expensive because our style looks expensive. You are going to learn how to manipulate natural light, how to shape it, control it, and style your shots. I'm going to teach you the art of controlling situations, knowing exactly what you need and how to persuade others so you can achieve those amazing shots for your films. I'm also going to teach you how to schedule your day in ways that you can avoid the photographer. And yes, that is possible. All the skills, all the techniques, everything that you need to know in order to achieve my exact looking style. 22 lessons, 12 plus hours of content, and 2 full wedding day behind the scenes of myself mic'd up in real life situations. Make yourself a luxury brand and you will attract luxury clients. I'm here to tell you that you can learn this style, you can land bigger weddings, and you can turn your skills into a full-time business. I'm Gregory Lorenzo, and this is my luxury course.
Oh my goodness. That still gives me chills, man. Greg Lorenzo, how are you?
Good, man. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for being on. This is going to be a good one.
I'm excited.
So, the creator of Luxury Filmmaker, after 8 years of being in the trenches of a wedding videographer, now you are a wedding videographer and educator.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit about why you decided to start Luxury Filmmaker.
Yes, good question. So yeah, we've been doing this for a while, about 8 years or so. And I've noticed throughout the years, as much as I enjoy filming weddings and producing that type of content, after a while, I wanted to express myself in a different type of way. Also, based on the type of business model that we've created, a husband and wife team, capturing a limited number of weddings per year. It's great in the sense that we're able to produce high quality films because we just keep everything condensed and just more in-house. The issue with that is that it's not really scalable. Eventually, you kind of reach a ceiling where you can't really go beyond that point, or else you're going to start to drop quality, and then you're just going to be shooting too much where you might we might burn ourselves out and things like that. So we didn't want to, we wanted to figure out how to still charge forward with our business, but we wanted to try to figure out a way where we're not going to sacrifice quality doing it. So then we started kind of, looking around for our next move, and we've been seeing that this online course space has really been growing significantly. And throughout the years, I've gotten so many questions from other filmmakers asking me, how do you do this? How do you do that? What camera are you using? Things like that. And I was talking to you about this the other day, and I was saying how I was like honored that all these filmmakers were asking me these questions, but I felt like they were asking me actually the wrong questions, and the answers that they were looking for needed a little bit more context. And I felt that after the amount of time I've been in business, I felt like I was qualified to teach. And then I started with our first course called the Luxury Look, which is how to replicate the type of style of filmmaking that we produce. A lot of people were interested in trying to replicate that look. So we created that course, which has gone really well. We have over 200 members just within that community. And then we have another product called our Wedding Posing Shot List for photographers and filmmakers, which is a really handy PDF download that you can keep on your phone on a wedding day. So you can put your couples into high-end poses and not have to think about it. You can just kind of scroll through. If you're in bridal prep, you'll have 30 elegant bridal portrait poses that you can quickly reference. And then I go into a little bit more detail in the PDF to kind of give you cues on what to say in order to put those couples into those positions. Same thing with groom prep and couples poses. And then we've also just launched our Wedding Sales 101 course, which is the entire business side of things as well. So trying to produce educational content that gives all phases of our business over the past 8 years, kind of condense it down and give photographers and filmmakers in the wedding industry those shortcuts that took us much longer time to figure out. So,
well, the fact that you before you actually said, okay, I'm making an online course, you recognized that on Facebook, on these community boards, that you have people asking you the same questions. You realize, okay, these are popular questions. And to you, it's like, well, no duh. You just go over here, do this, open this window, and you're good. But these people don't know that. So
right.
You take that and you kind of like store it away. And then when it comes time in that moment where you're like, you know what, this online course space seems pretty interesting, you don't even have to research and say, well, who's my audience going to be? What am I going to say? Like, you already know just from being in tune with listening. I think that's an invaluable and underrated skill that I don't think many people have, is listening. We have 2 ears, 1 mouth for a reason. So that's
right.
Fantastic. And I will say that I have the context of how invaluable the shot list is when you are under pressure and you are, with the bride and she gets her dress on in 3 seconds and you have to get this shot, get that shot, all to make the product work.
Right.
The pressure is real, and it's like, stand over, like, so to just quick pull out your phone, okay, do this, stand like that, invaluable.
Yeah, 100%. And also the reason why I made it too is because I feel like I use it myself, and I feel like you kind of get into the same routines, and then all of a sudden all your stuff kind of starts looking the same. So to have a different variation that you can just kind of go through, turn like switches your brain from one mode to a different mode to kind of unlock different forms of creativity to kind of diversify your content in that regard. So that was one of the other reasons why we created it too.
Yeah. Now with so much context into the wedding world, I am going to ask you the hard questions here.
Okay.
I know that there are other online courses geared towards wedding videographers that give the high-end luxury look. They came out long before you made Luxury Filmmaker. And one person in particular, who's one of the best wedding cinematographers in the world, I mean, literally in the world, made a course in 2011, which I actually purchased and watched.
Right.
Why would you start a luxury wedding course when someone who is more famous than you, has better work than you, subjectively? Why would you decide to compete, quote unquote?
Yes, so very good question. And just as a rule of thumb, any idea that you have, anything that you're trying to do, has already been done. Probably thousands of times in very well done ways, right? So you can say that about essentially pretty much anything. The reason why I felt like I was qualified to teach was because I feel like all of those high end filmmakers. Obviously, we're talking about the Ray Romans of the world. It's a different type of business model. For him, he's a uh, world renowned wedding filmmaker that's really looking for big time, high profile clients. They're called right. They're called these high profile luxury clients. Um, that is an entire business model in itself where you can cater to those types of people, but you have to 9 times out of 10 get on a plane in order to service those types of clients, right? And it's also a major, major game of networking with planners and venues and just other vendors and relationship building, which essentially I'm not really that good at. So my business model was designed around finding those clients locally, and you know to be truthfully honest, they're not the same type of clients. They're not gonna pay me as much as a Ray Roman client would pay, but they're gonna pay more than what they would pay their other local vendors. And to me, like, that's the game, right? Finding as many of those clients as you can, or as many of those clients as you want to per year, which is way easier to find than those high profile clients, and doing all that trench work with relationship and network building, and developing an engine, a system that you can rely on every single month that performs for you very consistently and very predictably in order to churn you X amount of leads per month, which funnels down to X amount of bookings per month. And you're getting bookings at prices that are higher than the rest of your competitors. In some cases, higher than the photographers that are there on the day, because as we know, we're considered secondary on the wedding day as filmmakers. So to me, like, that's my business model. That's been my bread and butter for the last 8 years. And I think it's a much more long term and sustainable business doing things that way versus the other way where, like 40% of your income could rely on this relationship with this planner at this venue, right? And if that falls, all of a sudden, so does that big part of your business. So for me, we've developed systems, we've developed email structures, we've developed sales pitches, we've developed lead generation strategies that work no matter what all the time, because for the we're just looking for that above average wedding in our local market, which happens every single day. And that's essentially the business model.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, 5 years ago, and actually, geographically, you and I are in a good spot with the weddings, especially you being in New Jersey, where, New Jersey, North Jersey, New York City, there is a demand for luxury style wedding videography. 5 years ago, if if a bride and groom wanted that luxury look, chances are they'd have to fly in the Ray Roman from Miami, or
Right.
that renowned wedding filmmaker from California. You saw that as an opportunity and said, I am going to create, I mean, one, Lorenzo Media Productions as the local luxury guy, but then let's take this and share it with the world. Let's elevate the videographer community as a whole.
Hmm.
Now we don't have to fly in someone from California and spend $10,000 more than we expected to.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
smart.
and it's even just because we have students like all over the world. We have students in the middle of the country where they're not like as over the top as it is on the East Coast or the West Coast. But essentially, the idea is to just stand out compared to the rest of your market. Therefore, you will make more than your competitors. That's essentially my messaging to its core.
Hmm. And that's it. Yeah. To create a strong wedding business. let's kind of shift towards the online course business, because a lot of my clients, a lot of the people who I work with aren't in weddings. They are in all sorts of different fields and industries, but they do see the online course space as something that is long term. They see it as something to increase their brand and their presence and their expertise as the leading expert in their industry.
Mhm.
So let's just say, well, we don't have to just say it, because you actually did make a course. Um, you have your course. Why? What do you think is stopping people? Like, your course is a steal, I will say. I mean, like, if I was in the wedding industry, I would have bought your course like that if I was starting out. The trailer's so good, as I've said many times, but the meat is there. It's so good, and the price is like, you can't beat it. Why are there still skeptical people? Like, what do you think is like that extra push to get them to buy? Or do you even
Right.
care?
Yeah, I mean, so I think there's still it's a very new, it's not new, but it's newer. A lot of this digital stuff that we're seeing now, all these kind of like newer types of businesses online. I think there's still a bit of skepticism because obviously we're all used to traditional education, going to college and universities, things like that, um, in order to establish credibility and learn things. But I really feel like it's all shifting very quickly. Like rather than going to a university paying tens of thousands of dollars to hear information from somebody that's not even anywhere close to the industry any longer, using all this outdated equipment that the college wouldn't pay for to update. It's like now you can buy a course for a great price with somebody that's currently thriving in their crafts, with the most relevant information. So I think it's just, I think it's all catching up. Um, but I always say, like, I think if you create something where tangibly somebody can see that the value exceeds the price, people will always buy. And I just think, when it comes to like creating and selling online course content, it actually makes you a little bit vulnerable to create it because I think naturally you develop a little bit of like imposter syndrome where deep down you have things to say, but it's almost like psychological to the point where it's like you kind of like there's a lot, like I dealt with so many different like psychological things when I was creating this course because for the exact reasons that you said, like why should I do it? Ray Roman's out there, like there's all these different like self-talk like in your brain that's telling you like don't do it, but you should. So uh to create this course it took me almost 7 months in order to actually do all of the work involved to just create the course. And then there's marketing it. And then as you market it, you're serving it out to the masses at a very fast rate. So you're dealing with a lot of like criticism and negative comments naturally. So it's a little bit tough. Like it's not as simple as it looks, but but in regards to doing it, I feel like everybody, like if you feel like you're good at something and you've done something for a while where anybody like let's say like on a scale of 1 to 10, let's say maybe you're not at a 10, maybe you're at like a 7. All of these people from a 1 to a 7 within this range you can teach, and that's really what you have to just kind of like realize, like as you create any kind of like online course, like if you can service that 1 to 7, you're doing a great thing, and you deserve to have a course, you know what I mean? So I feel like obviously like there's still people I can learn from, and I still should, but I've gotten to a point where I have something to say to the to the people that are trying to get to my position, and if I can help them get there faster, I feel good about that.
Absolutely. And it's interesting talking about the traditional education method. You go to college, You spend X amount of years or get X amount of credits, and then you get your degree. If you think about it, like online courses, without a doubt, Luxury Filmmaker, any course you buy, it will not be as packed with knowledge as a semester course. A semester course, you're there 3 times a week. You're maybe 3 hours a week or 6 hours a week, depending on the course, for how many weeks? 3 months, 3 4 months, plus all the homework, plus all the studying. So college courses have a lot more content, but online courses like Luxury Filmmaker, you just cut to the chase. You just go for the most relevant information. And what's actually interesting, since you have the luxury look, the shot list, the sales call template, all within Luxury Filmmaker, people can buy all three separately. Like it's not just a one and done. So it's like splitting up a course into 3 sections. So really, for the consumer end of things, it's fantastic because Luxury Filmmaker as a whole is a college course, but the luxury look is, you know, the first course content that you're covering for quote unquote a month, and then you go into the shot list, and then you go into the sales. So
Right.
that's a great way to make fantastic knowledge, relevant knowledge, attainable, because people can buy one course. If I love it, great, I'll buy another one. If I don't love it, well, you know what? There goes X amount of dollars. Guarantee it's still
Mhm.
cheaper than a college course. Even a community college
Yeah.
course can be like over $1,000. Luxury Filmmaker with all the courses is less than that, right?
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I want to be able to service as many people as I can, and everybody's at different areas of their filmmaking career. Everybody's looking for different things. So we're like almost exactly a year into doing this. So I'm listening to feedback from the community of what it is what everybody's looking for, and I want to be able to service them as best as I can based on their needs. So yeah, I mean, I think creating kind of an a la carte system where, okay, you're here in your career, this would help you now, and then creating products where I can further people along to the next level based on the current level that they're at. So yeah, I thought like my original idea for all of this was having 3 different phases, which would be like creating it, which would be the luxury look, marketing it, which is wedding sales 101, and selling it, which is also wedding sales 101, and then having all different caveats that are just kind of like, a little bit lower ticket, but still very helpful along the way, such as the wedding posing shot list. I have some other ideas too, where just to kind of like, those like burning questions that people have. If I could just like answer that for them like very quickly, that would and like thoroughly, I feel like that would make for something that's useful.
Well, anyone who's watching this that has seen my other live streams know how much I love burning questions and just answering those burning questions, because that is how you gain trust and confidence with your community. Uh, just give the people what they want, plain and
Yes.
simple. And speaking of community, we have Simon K in the chat. Greg is the
Oh, nice.
man. The knowledge he has is crazy. College courses are useless content to an extent. I love it. I can get on board with that. College has its place. There is some good stuff in college. But yeah, when it comes to like knowing what we want to know, I would definitely go for an online course over college from a knowledge standpoint.
Yeah, yeah, and I think about like as an entrepreneur, I think about return on investment, and I, I like I like courses that say we're going to take you from here to here. You're starting here, and then once you get to here, this is exactly what you'll be able to obtain. So it's like a measurable. It, it's presented to you in a measurable type of way. You know, like that. Like that's what I'm trying to kind of move towards too, where it's like with our wedding sales 101, it's a 2-part course right now. I'm teaching photographers and filmmakers everything they need to do after the lead inquires, and then anybody that purchases part one will automatically receive part two, which I'm going to try to release at some point this year, which will teach everybody how to generate their own leads through Facebook and Instagram ads. So essentially, like that I'm excited about because I'm going to teach you how to go from, whatever, however many leads you have, to a tangible number based on the skills that I'm going to teach you within the course, right? So I can give you a tangible result, right? And that's something that I'm excited for because like the luxury look, I'm really passionate about that. I'm really excited about that, and it does make you stand out in your market, but it doesn't necessarily give you like a tangible result. That part is kind of up to you. So for filmmakers that are looking for that, it's perfect, but there's not really like a business model around it, which is why I wanted to focus separately on business with Wedding Sales 101 and provide people with something that, I'm clearly taking you from A to B. And once you get to B, this is what you'll be able to obtain for your business on a consistent basis. Does that make
Oh, it
sense?
absolutely does. Now,
Okay.
and it got
Just
me
wanna make sure.
thinking with tangible results. You've been in this for about a year now. Have you, and with over 200 students, I believe you said, do you have people saying, Greg, I just booked, you know, $20,000 worth of weddings that I did not have in years prior? Like, have you seen these tangible results?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So in our community in total, we've actually just crossed over 500 paid members across all of our different products, which is really cool. Within the luxury look, I think we're a little over like 200, in between like 200 and maybe like 220 or something like that. And just yesterday, actually, uh, Kyle from our luxury filmmaker group sent me one of his most recent films, and like I was like blown away. I couldn't believe that like I felt like I was watching like my own stuff. It was like really really cool. It was like one of like the it was like one of those like I don't know how to describe it, but like I've seen like a lot of people improving within like the private Facebook group. Everybody posts their stuff, and his in particular like shocked me. I was like looking in a mirror, which was really really cool. And just recently, before that, he was sharing that his business is doing so well, he was able to open up his own studio space. So now he's got his own actual like space to bring clients to and do work in, which is really cool. I could just see his business growing, and he messages me and all that stuff. So yeah, it's really cool to see that, and reassuring too, because it's like I'm putting something out there that people are benefiting from, which is like my main priority. So that's really like my intentions. Like I feel like the intentions are to, if I focus on serving other people, I'll create the best possible products. I never want to get lazy with that process.
That's it. Yeah, it's a surreal moment to see your students create something that, like, you think it's your own. It's like looking in a mirror. Just a year goes by of them taking your course, and they're creating things on your level. It's like, and that's the magical thing about online courses. Of course, every single entrepreneur in the existence of humanity says, "Oh, well, I want to help serve people." That's, great. Well, really, you probably just want to make money, but you're saying you want to help serve people, you want to solve a problem. Great. Again, the most generic stuff in the book. But when you get to see the results and you get to keep up with the community, which I think having that community is another hugely underrated asset in luxury filmmaker, in creating an online course. It really puts it into perspective. Like, this is for the students, and to see their success is probably the greatest form of success that you've seen.
Yeah, and it's so funny because like exactly what you just said. You know, I hear so many other people talk about all the time. You know, create and serve others. You know, and I'm like, I never really understood that 100% because I don't know, my mind, I just couldn't see it. But then at like it had like it all kind of like clicked like as I was doing it. You know, so you know, like that's what's so cool about this entire business structure is like just as long as you do it with good intentions, you actually are really helping people. And you know, a lot of people feel guilty for being, you know, paid for things, and like you know, people that are like starting their own businesses, like you almost feel like you don't deserve to be paid for something like that. But in reality, you know, it's a fraction of the cost of like the time that they would have spent trying to figure it out. You know, like you are a qualified teacher just as long as you are where you say you are and you're servicing the other people that are trying to get to that point. And you are really doing like a great thing, which is really, really cool. So, you know, so it's like I really thoroughly enjoy the actual business model. And, you know, the more you grow it, the faster you can help more and more people, which is really cool. And it's cool. You create a community. It's, you know, like you engage with that community. Everybody's like on the same level. You know, you're not kind of like mixed like within those Facebook groups where anybody can join, where you're just having all these different like sidebar conversations. Everybody's like talking and focusing on the same thing, trying to achieve the same goal. And it's just cool. It's just a really cool thing that I'm like super excited about, and you know, enjoying and looking forward to continuing to grow it.
Absolutely. Now, I am curious. I'm very curious on what do you have in the works? Because I know you have three great products. They solve three great problems, but I also know that there are more than just three problems in the wedding videography world. What else are you tinkering with? What else is on the horizon? I know you said you have part two of the sales.
Yes, yes. So that's my first priority. That's what I promised people. So naturally, I'm going to make sure I deliver for them. So yeah, I'm really excited for that because that's truly the backbone of our engine. I call it in order to achieve consistent results. Because for us right now, we're generating anywhere from like 40 to 70 leads per month, just around the clock with the type of like marketing that we do, paid marketing, right? So essentially, the idea is to put X amount of money into Facebook and Instagram ads, and then you're pulling out, you know, Y, right? So, and then the difference is your profit margin, right? So that's essentially what keeps our business going long term. And I think that a lot of people don't understand, a lot of photographers and filmmakers and just entrepreneurs in general never really truly understood marketing, more specifically modern day marketing, because a lot of people will focus just on the craft itself, which it'll get you pretty far, like it'll get you to a certain point. But then if you really want to break through, you know, the barrier of quitting your 9 to 5, making a multiple six-figure income, you need to know how to properly market. You need to understand what proper marketing actually is. Because once you do, again, like goes back to, you know, the term, like you're creating an engine. You're creating something that is consistent and predictable. And that's the part where that's really what essentially like part two of this course is going to be. It's going to teach you what marketing really is, how to properly do it, why you're doing it a certain type of a way, and then you know, just maintaining consistency. And then that way, you know, you'll always have customers for your business, and then you can filter them through your funnel, and then you'll be able to get a predictable amount of bookings every single month. And then you can design that however you want, right? So like if you want to charge more, you know, you'll shoot less weddings per year. If you want to charge less, you'll do more in volume, you know, and you can tailor it to whatever is most suitable for you know, for yourself and your lifestyle. And that's what true entrepreneurship really is, you know. So that's essentially like the first thing that I'm really prioritizing. I really want to do a coaching program. I want to try to figure out how to turn all of this into online courses plus a coaching program where I don't just leave you with the course. You can if you want to, but I would like to create a coaching program where um, not only do you purchase the course, but it also comes with coaching, and you're on a call with me. I don't know how many times a week just yet, or how many times a month just yet, but I'm there to be on like a group Zoom call with everybody, and you can actually talk to me and ask me your questions, and then kind of creating a like a digital archive of the questions that are asked. So that way you can refer to these meetings at any time, and it's kind of just like a Rolodex of the most common questions. And like if I like if I like right now I'm creating, I'm trying to move myself forward in online course creation. If I could just talk to somebody on a weekly basis and ask them like, hey, what do you think I should do next? Like, what do you think I should do right now? I'm struggling with this. Like, what do you think I should do? Like, that's essentially what the coaching program would be. And I would keep it to like a limited number of people. So that way I can, best help, best like service that kind of, best service those people and just continue to find ways to just accelerate their success. So
Yeah, dude,
kind of what I'm formulating. Yeah.
you're on the right track with the online consultations. I mean, and this is where our online courses differ. You are focused on wedding videographers. I'm focused on entrepreneurs looking to use their video as their marketing, as their as the face of their business.
Mm-hmm.
And my online course is called the Entrepreneur's Video Guidebook, where it's uh, very very tutorial-esque in a not YouTube kind of way.
Right.
With YouTube, everything is optimized for clicks and subscribes and all that. I push away from that, and I just,
Right.
here is how you properly set up the tripod with your phone, because we talk about using the phone as your camera because it's a fantastic camera. Use the phone, hook up the audio and all that. But like, that is not the end all be all. Okay, now I know everything about making my own videos. Of course not. It's an introduction course, it's a tutorial course. Some people, that's like all they need and they're good and, hit the ground running.
Mm-hmm.
Other people, it's like, well, okay, I followed the guidebook and it's very helpful, but I just don't know what angle in my room do I film. Like, I got this window glare and then the ceiling. Like, how do I do this, Christian? Well, let's hop on a call.
Right.
Do the consulting, because that's a specific, like, you're going to get results, because it's not just, okay, let me watch another video tutorial. It's, I'm talking with Christian. I'm talking with Greg. Like, I know that I am going to get a result from this call. So from the consumer end, beautiful. From your end, okay, I'm learning there's a lot of people that have issues with having the ceiling light in the background and they don't know how to get around it.
Yeah.
Now I know, okay, I will build this into the next tutorial, or I will incorporate that into the next lesson. Like, it's so valuable. So consulting, highly recommend it.
You know what it is too? I actually do this thing every single week with my sister and a couple of my friends, and it's called accountability meetings. There's a really good book called The 12-Week Year. Have you ever heard of that?
I haven't. No.
It's not a super popular book, but a friend of mine shared it with me, and essentially, uh, it breaks up the entire premise of the book is like big companies, right? They get so much work done in when it's like crunch time in the final quarter of the year, right? Like they'll essentially do like, you know, like half the year's amount of work in the final quarter of the year. And this guy that wrote the book was like very curious, like, why is that, right? And it's because they're not really measuring their goals in the right type of a way, and they don't really have like a check-in accountability system in order to get those things done. So what we do is, so with the book, they give you like a downloadable spreadsheet that you can follow, where essentially you're breaking down a year's worth of goals into 12 weeks, right? And you're trying to figure out how to get a year's worth of work done within 12 weeks. And you're kind of reverse engineering like what your goals are. So I did it with the course actually, and it helped me get the course done much faster. And uh, creating kind of like a checklist of the things that you need to do is one thing, but having accountability for it is what actually makes it work. So every single Monday at 8:30, we have an accountability meeting where we all pull up our spreadsheets, and then you put your tasks into your spreadsheet throughout the week, and then you kind of like check off the things that you got done, and then it spits you out a percentage score at the end of the week. So essentially, when you show up to these meetings every single week, you don't want to be the one person that has like a 50 on your accountability sheet. You want to be in like the high 80s, 90s, and you're almost kind of like competing with your peers. And that's what actually makes it work so much better, because I find myself on like Saturdays and Sundays doing things I wouldn't normally do because I don't want to be the guy that showed up with like a 45 at the meeting. You know what I mean? So essentially, like the coaching program, I want it to kind of be like that too, where it serves as an accountability meeting as well, because I can give you all the tools you need to be successful. But if there's no accountability, life is just going to get in your way and just take over and
Hmm.
prevent you from succeeding, So
Accountability and
that's something.
scarcity too.
Right,
I mean,
right.
with consulting, especially with Zoom and online, it's easier to forget, and it's easier to just well, I'll go to next week's meeting, but you as the course creator, as the consultant, have the ability to say, hey, and here also, I hate one call and done, because one call and done does not, it
It's like
fixes a
going,
very
yeah,
small problem. It does not fix the larger problem. So
right.
4 calls a month, or you know six months at a time, 2 calls
Mhm.
every month, 6 months at a time, some sort of schedule where you have the accountability, but then use it or lose it.
Right.
If you don't use it, you're not getting a refund. Like, from a business standpoint, obviously it's smart, but for the user, for the consumer who is buying the consulting, who's investing in their own success, like, money's on the table.
Yeah. I mean, are you familiar with Dan Henry? I think we talked about this, right?
We
It's
talked
a
a little
digital
bit about
marketer.
him. Yeah.
Yeah. So he has an online course, but he forces it into a coaching program. So you're automatically buying into the coaching program with the course, right?
Okay.
He sells it for $10,000, and it's a crazy premium investment, and it's almost a shocking investment
Mhm.
to a degree, where you're dropping so much money for something that you're hoping kind of works. But you know, for a fact that you're showing up to those meetings, you're definitely opening up that course. There's no way you're going to drop 10 grand and just not use it.
Mhm.
So in a way, he's finding serious customers, and that are more inclined to get results because they put so much on the line to be there in the first place. So he's kind of like the guru of like high ticket sales, but there's something to that, and it comes down to it really comes down to accountability, and you need to do something that shakes somebody up enough to create the change that they need. you know
That's it, dude. High ticket consulting, high ticket courses benefit everyone. They
right.
genuinely do. And I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
there's a
it's true.
misconception of like, oh, people are being greedy by charging 10 grand for a course or consulting. Like, that's outrageous. Mm-mm. It's a bigger risk for the consumer, but they're the ones who control the risk. It's not
Right.
just throw it out and hope something good happens. They throw it out, but then they have to go and get it, you know?
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Uh,
So it's a cool space. For anybody that's in the industry or has been in the industry for a while, I really do recommend getting into it, especially now because it's on such a big rise. It's like buying good real estate at a good price.
Right,
I think that anybody that's been doing something for a while that is proficient, and has had sustainable success is qualified to create some sort of an online course in any kind of niche.
absolutely. So, for those that are either curious about what goes into an online course, or for those that are wedding videographers looking to achieve the luxury look, where can we find you and Luxury Filmmaker?
So you can head to luxuryfilmmaker.com if you want to check out all of our resources to enhance your wedding or photography skills. And then I am most active right now on Instagram. So that's at Luxury Filmmaker on Instagram. If you guys want to interact with me there, that's where I spend the most amount of my time. And then over time, I'll be building out our YouTube handle. But everything is at Luxury Filmmaker if you guys want to follow us.
Fantastic. And that is in the lower third. And yeah, Greg Lorenzo, thank you so much for being on. I appreciate it. And for those that are uh, sticking tuned for the next live stream will be in 2 weeks, which I believe is April 28th, 12 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, if you have any questions for Greg, definitely reach out. And if you are interested in the Entrepreneur's Video Guidebook, well, you're in luck because you don't actually have to buy something right away. It's a two-parter. The guidebook is the video guidebook, but I also offer a list of free gear, Amazon links to all my favorite entry-level gear that really, it's technically entry-level, but it's really nice. And it's stuff that I use pretty much every day of my life. The Entrepreneur's Video Survival Pack, the free list, which you can get at christiangolic.com. And until next time, everybody, take care. See you guys.